All right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive into American English.
I'm excited to be back.
This is episode 2 of our journey together, and
that's right.
We are so glad you're here. If you're enjoying this, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.
Yes, subscribing really helps.
Keeps you coming back for more and learning more and more and more.
Absolutely.
Okay, so last time we kind of got our feet wet with the American accent, talking about the R and the flap T and how words flow together.
Right.
Well, today, we're going deeper.
Yeah.
And by the end of this episode, you'll be sounding a lot smoother and more natural.
Yeah.
And just way more confident.
Or confident, for sure.
Okay, so first up, intonation and stress. You know how some English learners sound a bit flat? Mm-hmm. It's often because they're missing the natural ups and downs of American English.
Yeah, it's like speaking without any music.
Right.
Like, there's no melody to it.
It's like a robot almost.
Exactly.
So instead of saying, I don't know what you mean, like monotone, the native speaker would probably say, I don't know what you mean.
Exactly.
And it changes the whole meaning.
You're totally right.
And it's not just volume, it's also the pitch of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
So you go higher or lower to add that
emphasis,
yeah.
Exactly.
So you're adding emotion to your voice.
Right.
To make it come alive.
To make it more interesting.
To make it interesting, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? It just makes you sound more like a native speaker when you do that.
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk about connected speech.
Yeah.
Remember how we touched on linking words last time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're going deeper. Think of it as a dance between words. Instead of saying, go on with a break, a native speaker would smoothly connect them.
Right. Go on.
Go on, exactly.
Exactly.
So it's more efficient.
It is.
And it just sounds so much more natural.
Yeah, it really does.
And I think it's because when we speak quickly,
yeah,
our mouths just naturally want to be lazy.
They want to be efficient, let's say.
Let's say efficient,
yeah.
all right? I like that better.
Another example is turn off, which becomes turn off.
Turn off. Oh, I like it. Yeah.
It's one word.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
So it's about training our ears to hear those blended sounds.
Yes.
And just trying to mimic them.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's move on to another technique, dropping sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Also called elision.
Elision?
It's like texting shorthand, where you shorten going to gonna write.
Mm-hmm.
Spoken English does this all the time.
Yeah.
So want to becomes wanna.
Exactly.
I wanna.
Gotcha.
Do you wanna? It's so much easier.
It is.
It's so much more natural.
And it makes you sound, again, like a native speaker.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going for here.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, our final connected speech technique, merging sounds, also called assimilation.
Assimilation.
Have you ever noticed how you morphs into Didja?
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's like the sounds are influencing each other.
Yeah.
It's a linguistic melting pot.
I love that.
Yeah.
Pay attention to how native speakers do this.
Yeah.
And try it yourself.
Exactly. Just give it a try.
Now, this seems like a lot to remember.
Don't worry. It's not.
Wait.
It becomes more natural with practice.
Oh, okay.
And that's why you need to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
So you can keep coming back for more and more of this goodness.
For more practice. Yeah.
So speaking of practice, let's tackle some common pronunciation mistakes.
Okay, I'm ready.
They could really trip you up.
Yeah.
All right. Think of this as your pronunciation cheat sheet.
Your cheat sheet. That's right.
Okay, first up, the V and the W sounds.
Okay.
Many learners accidentally say W instead of V. So very comes out as wary. The trick is to think about how you make the V sound.
Yeah.
You're gently biting your lower lip with your top teeth.
Okay.
So try it with very, voice, invite.
Very, voice, invite.
Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, I do.
It's subtle.
It is.
But it makes a huge difference.
It does.
Now, what about the L sound at the end of words?
Ooh, yes.
Some learners replace it with an O sound, so call becomes KO.
No.
The key here is your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
For that proper L, press your tongue against the roof of your mouth at the end of the word.
Okay.
Try call, ball, school.
Call, ball, school.
It's all about tongue placement.
It is.
Okay, and this next one is a classic.
Okay.
Can versus can't.
Ah, yes.
So this is all about the stress and how long you hold the vowel sound.
Okay.
Can, when you're able to do something, is short and unstressed.
Right.
But can't, expressing inability, is longer and stressed.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting more emphasis on the A sound.
Okay.
And holding it for a bit longer.
Can.
Can't. Did you hear it?
Yes,
Oh, it's amazing how a small change can completely change the meaning.
it's true.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
And remember, subscribe to the podcast so you can keep practicing and learning.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Next, we're going to talk about some daily training techniques that you can use to really make these pronunciations stick.
All right, I'm excited for that.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
You know, before we move on to those daily training techniques, I want to emphasize something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Building a daily listening habit.
Yes, it's so important.
It is.
It's like training your ears to recognize all the subtleties of American English
Exactly.
so you can start using them yourself.
You got it. And you know what's amazing?
What?
The more you improve your pronunciation,
Yeah,
the more confident you'll feel speaking English.
it makes sense
It does.
because when you know you're saying things correctly, you're not as hesitant to speak up.
Exactly. It's all about communicating effectively and connecting with others.
Right.
So let's keep going with some techniques to refine your accent even further. Ready to level up?
Absolutely. Hit me with your best tips.
And people from different areas pronounce things slightly differently.
Yeah, it's like how British English has different accents depending on where you are.
Exactly. And just like in Britain, these variations add color and personality to American English.
Yeah.
Understanding them can help you navigate conversations with people from all over the U.S.
So it's not just about understanding them, it's about appreciating the diversity of American English.
Absolutely. Let's start with a classic, the Southern accent.
Ooh,
You know, that warm, drawly accent that often reminds people of hospitality and sweet tea.
I love the Southern accent.
It's so friendly.
It is.
The Southern accent stretches out vowel sounds and softens consonants.
Okay.
The pace is slower, too. So, for example, cat might sound like cat,
A cap?
and car might sound like car.
Car? Yeah, I can hear it.
It's like the words are taking their time, relaxing in the sun.
I love that description.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the New York accent,
Okay.
which is fast-paced, drops R sounds, and has a distinct rhythm.
Okay.
Think of phrases like fugged about it and coffee regular.
Yeah, it's very energetic and direct.
You got it.
Like they're always in a hurry.
They are. Then we have the California accent, often described as laid back and relaxed. They pronounce words like dude and like with a very distinctive intonation.
So it's like each region has its own melody to its speech.
That's a great way to put it.
That's so interesting.
It is. And remember, the Midwestern accent is often perceived as the most neutral, almost like what you hear on national news.
So it's like the standard American accent.
Exactly. The beautiful thing is, all these accents contribute to the richness of American English.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to explore them.
Explore.
Listen to how people from different areas speak and maybe even try imitating some of the sounds.
It's like adding different flavors to your English.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, this next topic might be one of the trickiest,
Oh.
vowel sounds.
Oh, yeah.
English has a lot of them, and some can be difficult to distinguish.
Yeah. There are a lot of sounds.
You're not wrong. English has around 14 distinct vowel sounds,
Wow.
which can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And many of these sounds are very subtle, requiring precise tongue and lip movements.
It's like a workout for your mouth.
You could say that. Let's start with a common confusion. The short I sound in ship versus the long E sound in sheep.
Yeah, I can see how those could be mixed up.
The difference is in the length of the vowel and your tongue position.
Okay.
For the short I, your tongue is higher in your mouth and the sound is shorter.
Okay.
For the long E, your tongue is lower and the sound is longer, drawn out.
It's like the E sound wants to linger a bit longer.
Exactly. And this difference is crucial.
Right.
Imagine ordering a sheet cake but mispronouncing it as ship.
Oh, no. That would be a disaster.
Yeah, you might end up with the wrong dessert.
That could lead to a very disappointing birthday party.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how important these subtle differences are.
They are. And remember, it's not just individual words. Vowel sounds change depending on the other sounds around them.
Okay.
For instance, the sound in cat is different from a sound in car.
So the context of the word matters too.
Absolutely. Speaking of context, let's move on to some real-life conversation hacks that can make you sound more natural.
Okay, I'm all ears.
All right, well, first off, remember contractions?
Oh, yeah.
Instead of saying, I am going to the store, it's much more natural to say, I'm going to the store.
Yeah, sometimes I forget to use contractions.
It takes practice, but try to make it a habit. It makes your English flow more smoothly.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to use slang and idioms,
Okay.
but carefully. Make sure you understand their meaning and when it's appropriate to use them.
Right. I wouldn't want to accidentally say something offensive.
Exactly. It's like wearing a funny hat.
Okay.
It can be fun,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't wear it to a job interview,
That's a good point.
right? So just be mindful of the context.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Any other tips?
Yes. Pay attention to the rhythm of conversation.
Okay.
Native speakers use fillers, I
always thought those were bad habits.
not at all. They give you time to think or soften a statement. They make you sound more like a real person, not a robot reading a script.
So it's about finding a balance.
Yeah.
Right?
You got it.
Not too many fillers.
Right.
But not sounding overly formal either.
Exactly. And lastly, don't hesitate to ask for clarification if you don't understand something.
Oh, that's a good one.
Native speakers often use idioms, slang, or cultural references that might be unfamiliar to you.
Right. It's better to ask than to pretend you understand and miss the point entirely.
Exactly. And most people are happy to explain or rephrase things to make sure you're following along. Don't let fear of making mistakes hold you back.
That's a great point. I think sometimes I get so caught up in trying to be perfect that I forget to just relax and enjoy the conversation.
Relaxing is key.
Yeah.
Remember, making mistakes is part of learning. The more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm already learning so much from this episode.
I'm glad to hear it.
Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for even more tips and practice.
Yes, subscribing is the best way to stay on track with your learning.
What else do we have in store today?
Up next, we'll wrap things up with some final tips and resources that you can use to continue your pronunciation journey.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive
Yes, welcome back.
into the American accent. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope you're feeling motivated to keep practicing
I hope so too.
and refining your pronunciation.
Yes, we've certainly packed a lot into this episode.
Yeah, we have.
From intonation and those tricky vowel sounds
Right.
to the fun world of regional accents.
I know, it's fascinating.
It is. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some key takeaways and resources
Okay.
that will help you on your journey to mastering American English.
Yes, let's give our listeners some actionable steps they can take to continue improving.
Okay.
What's the most important thing to remember?
Well, first and foremost, consistency is key.
Okay.
Just like learning any new skill, improving your pronunciation takes time and consistent effort.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's not. Think of it like going to the gym. You wouldn't expect to see results after just one workout, right?
That's a great analogy. Just
Yeah.
like building muscle takes regular exercise,
Right.
improving your pronunciation requires regular practice.
Exactly. Make it a habit to practice every day.
Okay.
Even if it's just for a few minutes.
A few minutes, that's doable.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to make it fun.
Oh, yeah?
Find activities you enjoy that incorporate English.
So instead of seeing it as a chore, make it something you look forward to.
Exactly.
Like if you love music, try singing along to your favorite English songs.
That's a fantastic idea. Or if you enjoy movies, choose an American film
Okay.
and try shadowing the actors,
Oh,
repeating their lines and imitating their pronunciation.
I love that idea. And speaking of resources, there are so many amazing tools available
There are.
to help you improve your pronunciation.
Absolutely.
There are online dictionaries with audio pronunciations.
Right?
So you can hear how words are supposed to sound.
And don't forget about pronunciation apps.
The apps are great.
They are. Some of them even give you feedback on your own speech,
Oh, wow.
which can be really helpful.
Technology is amazing. And of course, there's our very own podcast.
That's right.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
Yeah, we've got a lot more coming up.
Filled with tips and tricks to help you sound more like a native speaker.
Absolutely. And while online resources are fantastic,
Yeah.
remember the value of real-life interaction.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Whenever you get the chance, practice speaking with native English speakers.
Right.
It could be with friends, colleagues, or even just someone you meet at a coffee shop.
I think sometimes people are afraid to speak up because they worry about making mistakes.
I understand that.
But everyone makes mistakes when they're learning something new, right?
Of course, it's part of the process.
And most native speakers are very understanding
They are.
and patient with English learners. They'll appreciate your effort and be happy to help you.
For sure.
So don't let fear hold you back.
Yeah.
The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
You got it.
Exactly. Embrace the challenge, celebrate your progress.
Yes.
And remember to have fun along the way.
Well said. The journey to mastering the American accent is an ongoing one.
I agree.
There will always be new things to learn and new challenges to overcome.
It's a journey.
It is. But with dedication and a positive attitude, you can achieve your pronunciation goals.
And remember, the most important thing is to be able to communicate effectively and connect with others.
Exactly.
Don't let the pursuit of perfect pronunciation overshadow the joy of using language to express yourself and build relationships.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's about finding that balance between improving your pronunciation and simply enjoying the process of communicating.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
I think so too.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
Into the American accent.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.
So you don't miss out on future episodes.
We'll be back.
We'll be back soon with more tips, tricks, and explorations into the world of English.
Absolutely.
Until then, happy practicing.
Happy practicing, everyone.